just got two things to say right now. First, I want to thank Accucare. They are awesome, our great sponsor. Get there. If you haven't been there yet, make an appointment, get to Accucare, especially towards the end of the season when your body needs to get that extra push and be healthy on the football field. Rehabilitation, recovery, they are the best. Make an appointment, call them and tell them you're coming. All right. The Shore Football Report is definitely endorsing going to Accucare. They're the best out there right now. And they have athletes going there around the clock, all sports, and that's that. And also, when you're transitioning to another sport, your body is gonna be needing this Accucare treatment because you're using different body parts. So just make sure that you utilize Accucare, located in Brick. They are the best. I love being associated with them. They are part of the team, the Shore Football Report team. All right. The other thing I want to say is this: subscribe to the Shore Football Report YouTube channel. Every one of you, when you watch it, click subscribe. It's free. It's free. Turn the notifications off if you don't want to hear it, but subscribe. By you subscribing, says thank you. I need 1,000. I want 1,000 subscribers. Please, 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 please subscribe. Scott Stump says I don't say it enough on our show. That's why we don't got 1,000 subscribers. But subscribe. All joking aside, it's the cool thing to do. All right, join the Shore Football Report team. We got so many things that are going to be going on our YouTube channel, not just our talk shows. We're going to have extensive all-star team coverage that we're going to do. Also, yes, you've been asking, the Stumpy Awards, they're coming back. The Stumpy Awards are coming back from 8 years ago, and I know you guys are going to love it. So we're going to have all my all-star teams, all county, all shore, all division, my rankings of players, because I changed things up and seeing how guys are playing, adding the freshmen, the 2026s are going to be included in that rankings too. It's a lot of stuff, all going to be on our YouTube, the Shore Football Report YouTube. Subscribe. You won't want to miss it. In the off season, I'll be doing things around the clock for recruiting, talking with college coaches and coaches from all over the country will be on my talk shows throughout the off season. There's no off in my season. All right. Subscribe to the Shore Football Report. And also, more importantly, make an appointment to Accucare. Accucare Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine in Brick, New Jersey offers a state-of-the-art facility with all the best and current treatments. With athletic trainers, massage therapists, and doctors of physical therapy, Accucare has everything you need to stay healthy and perform at the highest level. Cupping, stretching, laser therapy, compression boots, and a full-body cryo chamber are just some of what you can expect at Accucare. Check out their website and social media links in my bio. No prescription is needed to see them. So call them today and start feeling and performing at your best. Again, thank you to Accucare for sponsoring the Shore Football Report.
In South Jersey Group 3, we have one of the Shore's remaining undefeated teams, Ocean Township, as the number 2 seed, coming in with high expectations. Matawan back in the postseason as the number 6 seed. They're playing an undefeated team in Hopewell Valley. Delsey, the number 1 seed in this division, kind of looms as the giant. Can anyone slay them? They're a top 7 or 8 team in New Jersey. But let's start with Ocean's chances. They've had some barn burners the last couple of weeks. They score inside the final minute to beat Red Bank Regional last week. The week before that, they escaped against Middletown North in overtime. Tyler Douglas, obviously one of the best quarterbacks in New Jersey, gives them a chance against anybody. Let's talk about this first round matchup. They're going to be at home against Burlington Township, who has a 1,000-yard rusher in senior Naquan Jones, which can be an issue because Ocean has had some problems stopping the run game this year. I guess, how do you see Ocean's chances in the first round and then going forward?
Well, I like the fact that Ocean Township was battle tested the last 2 weeks and won against some pretty good teams right there. Did you see that run that against Red Bank? They were 4th down and 13, I think, at their own 10. All right. The Red Bank guy jumps off sides, makes it 4th down and 6. They get the first down. Can you imagine jumping off? It's a New York Jet thing. They jump off sides. Well, they get a first down. Now there's a minute left. 4th down and 4. They run a quarterback sweep. And the defender tries to beat him to the sideline. He pushes him out of the way and goes 40 yards for a touchdown. It was unbelievable. You as a coach, you get him to second level, and then you go, wow. And that's what he is. Tyler Douglas is a dude, and he's going to take them as far as he could. I see somebody in the Shore getting to the final. Let's just say that. I do like that. And I
think the good news for the Shore in this is that Delsey is on the other side of the bracket from the Shore team. So you're not going to have to deal with them until you get to the championship game. I think Matawan Hopewell Valley is a very fascinating game to me because Matawan, very young, they play a lot of their skill guys, freshmen, sophomores, they're going to be a playoff fixture here for the next 3-4 years. They're back in the postseason. They're coming off their first division title in 12 years. And I'm just going to come right out and say it. After a million years of covering the Shore and seeing how they do against these Mercer County teams in the playoffs, I never believe in the Mercer County teams record. I've seen so many 8-0 Mercer County teams, 8-1, 7-1, go out and get stomped by like mediocre Shore teams. So I never really know what their record means as far as, Hopewell Valley is undefeated, I think maybe for the first time in their regular season ever. They have a good, their Tim McCown, their quarterback, has like 1,500 yards passing, 1,700 TDs. They got a 1,000-yard rusher in Derek Van Brunt. They have a sophomore receiver, Justin Klotz, who has 700 yards receiving. So they clearly have some serious weapons on offense. They just put 53 points on Notre Dame last week. So the numbers look impressive. But again, I always think, who are they playing? Compared to the Shore Conference. Although I will say Matawan's division was not the strongest division in the Shore. So this game is just fascinating to me. You have an up-and-coming Matawan team that did play a hard team last week in Middletown South, or 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
So they've seen a high level of competition. But can Matawan pull off this upset against an undefeated team?
If there's anybody who knows anybody in that area, would be Coach Graber. He was a long-time head coach in Allentown. And that guy has ears in every program. I always say that because he knows what's going all over the place. What a great job he's done, Coach Graber at Matawan. And, of course, Coach Klein at Ocean, too. When you say they're a year away, that's because you got Colin Palumbo, who's a sophomore. You have Wellman Chromes, who's a freshman. You have Amir Martinez that really jumped on the stage as that sophomore quarterback behind Nick Windsor, the two-way player. He's probably one of the best defensive line combinations out there in the Shore Conference. Nick Windsor, it really is. But Matawan's excited. They looked very good against Barnegat. They very organized, very efficient. They have playmakers. They're young looking. And if they could pull up an upset against Hopewell Valley, I wouldn't be surprised because I think that when they play focused football, I know they had a slippage against Pinelands when they were winning by 21 and almost lost there. They have the athletes to compete with a Hopewell Valley. I know Hopewell Valley is very physical, but if there's anybody that knows those people over there in Hopewell Valley, it's Coach Graber.
And not only that, if they did pull the upset and Ocean handled their business, we'd have like an old school, like D North from like the 90s days, Matawan against Ocean game to go to the state championship.
We'll go to that game. Yeah.
But not only that, if Hopewell Valley wins, you have two, 9-0 teams playing each other in the semifinals. I mean, can't ask for more than that. As far as if Matawan doesn't make it, at least you get a matchup of unbeatens. I think the thing with Ocean is that I saw from seeing them in person, you've also seen them. Tyler Douglas, is an absolute magician. You never feel like you're out of the game with him. Middletown North seemingly had them on the ropes. Boom, 80-yard touchdown to Mateo Andrews. He can do that. But the thing that was, I guess would be nerve-wracking to me if I was an Ocean fan is the run defense. They're very small in their front seven, and Middletown North was able to muscle them. And that would be my fear that, as far as getting to the finals, if you had to play, Matawan obviously runs the ball, but more of an explosive running team than a power running team.
Correct. Correct.
But Hopewell Valley, a good offensive team. I just feel like that's the only thing that might stand in the way of them getting to the finals. And then I just feel like when we talk about the favorites, Delsea is a no-brainer here, right?
No-brainer. I like Ocean. A lot of guys have stepped up. Mateo Andrews, what a nice transfer when you get a knock on a door and it's a kid who's got almost 600 yards receiving, 7 touchdowns. Oh, how are you, right? I love Nick Caruso, who really solidifies the front up there. CJ Flanagan's been making plays. Ben Gerard at linebacker has been awesome.
Shane Garrett, their defense.
Shane Garrett, one of the top two-way linemen out there. So a lot of their other players are stepping up too to add to the heroics of Tyler Douglas. And this is a dream season for Coach, and Coach knows that this is a special team. They were in the playoffs a couple years ago. Do you remember? They were undefeated in the first round when they had that star running back, and they lost in the first round. So don't think that Coach Klein doesn't do that. He's probably changing a couple psychological things and all that stuff, but they had a great season, and I think they got some pretty good leadership, though.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it this way, the best case scenario, well, obviously the best case scenario would be a shore team winning the whole thing, but the best case realistic maybe scenario would be Ocean reaching the final, Matawan getting to the second round, because Delsea to me looks like the favorite to win all of Group 3. That the inaugural Group 3 title, I think, is theirs to take because they are just absolutely stacked. And in that other game, do you see Camden Eastside maybe being able to go on the road and beat South?
I think that Camden Eastside will beat South Plainfield in that round right there. I do. I don't know about South Plainfield's schedule is as tough as maybe a Camden Eastside doing it right there, but I see 2 potential upsets. I also see that Matawan. For some reason, I have some faith in Coach Graber and those guys over there. They're playing with a lot of excitement, and you never know. I think that they're a tough team to play if you're Hopewell Valley. Don't be surprised if it's a short conference state semifinals. You heard it here first. I think they're going to do it. I think Matawan's going to win next week, and I think Camden Eastside. I think the 2 upsets on both sides of the bracket.
Yeah, looking forward to it. We'll see how Ocean can do, in a big resurgent season for the Big Red. And now moving up to Central Jersey, we'll talk about the one team that's in this bracket from the Shore Conference, 4th-seeded Manasquan. We know their history, perennial playoff team, one of the most state titles in Shore Conference history. It's always them in Middletown South going back and forth. They are going to host Highland Regional at Vic Caboo Warrior Field.
Yeah.
Highland comes in with some weapons. Their quarterback, Connor Leary, has 1,100 yards passing. They have a senior running back, Angelo Rodriguez, has 1,200 yards rushing, 16 touchdowns. They also have a big-time receiver, Avon Stewart, 725 yards receiving. I mean, basically, whenever they throw the ball, it's to Stewart, and he has 7 touchdowns. Squan has built up a head of steam coming into the playoffs. They had that rocky start to the year, lost to Point Borough, the injuries, this, that, and the other thing, and now they kind of come back together. They had kind of a scare against Monmouth Regional last week, couple pick sixes in that game, kept the Falcons close.
Yeah.
How do you see? I mean, Manasquan again, perennial playoff team. Do they have a chance to?
Yeah, I do. I mean, give credit to Coach Price. We saw them game 1 against Point Borough, and Patton was sick as anything. You remember that
Right.
game? Right. I mean, they were 0-3. Manasquan 0-3. Wow. Think what Coach Price had to deal with. Manasquan's not used to being 0-3. I think what Coach Price does, year in, year out, is incredible because he's got some tough expectations every year in that community. He won 4 games in a row. They're playing good football. I really love the way he handles his, every situation, and they're right where they want to be. They're on a roll.
I think the other thing that's good for them is the team I would consider the favorite in this bracket, Camden, is the 2 seed on the other side of the bracket.
Yep.
So you may be able to take a crack at Seneca, the number 1 seed. Definitely, I feel it's not an easy game by any stretch of the imagination, but maybe a little more winnable than a game against Camden.
Here's a fact for you. My quarterback in college is the head coach at Highland Regional. His nephew is the quarterback at NC State, the big-time quarterback, Leary. And the other guy went to Illinois. So that just says, going to my school, that he's a brilliant guy, because you know how hard it is to get in William Patterson? It's the only school that actually accepted me, so it's not. I'm only joking, but
they call that the Harvard of North Jersey, from what I remember.
I think the winner of the Highland Manasquan game will get to the finals in this round. I do believe that, because I also believe that Somerville has enough of firepower to surprise the number 1 seed Seneca. So there's a lot of interest in that side of the bracket, because Manasquan and Highland are 2 scary teams. Because Manasquan's got it rolling right now, and Highland can play with anybody, definitely with their offense. But I really do like Manasquan's chances. Anything can happen on a Saturday with that popcorn flipping on the sidelines. You know that. Jameer Howard, Brett Patton. I mean, I can't see their season ending right now, because I just love watching them play football. When they're clicking, they're as good as anybody. They really are.
And one note, though, I mean, Howard did leave the game against Monmouth Regional a little banged up last week, so his status, might not be 100% if he is going to play. So that would be a huge factor. If he's not in the game, that changes things.
Yeah, but I know Coach Price as he'll take guys out, and he'll just make sure that I want you ready by the next week or the other week, because he's done that so many times in the past. I could see maybe him being dinged up and saying, you're going to sit out so we get you ready for next week. And maybe he felt the game was at hand. Because in that game against Monmouth, 2 touchdowns on interceptions, they were driving for scores too. So it wasn't like it was a battle where they had him. It just happened to be like, oh, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So, I wouldn't go too crazy with Jameer Howard getting injured, with that, because I haven't heard anything like with that. But, yeah, and then the other side of the bracket, I think Camden, like you said, is the clear favorite.
Yeah, I think best case scenario in this bracket, Manasquan beats a tough Highland team, pulls the upset on the road, makes it to Camden, and then, hey, maybe they pull off one of those patented Manasquan stunners in the state final as a heavy underdog. But that, to me, would be the
it was amazing. I'm going to call it what it is. Seemed like in the offseason, every other day, another kid was transferring to Camden. Like, everybody was just moving to Camden. My question is, why are you all going there? What's going on? But this guy from St. Joe's of Pennsylvania, this guy transfers in. That guy transfers in. The guy from St. John Vianney transfers to Camden. Like, what's going on there? I need to know what's going on.
The same way with their basketball program, too. It's just wild. Yeah, right? It's a free-for-all down there in South Jersey.
Is there any other guys being added to the team during the week? Did anybody else transfer in that we don't know?
Make sure you get an updated roster before the game.
We need an updated roster of who they have. But, yeah, I like Manasquan's chances to be a very competitive football game. But I do think that Highland Manasquan winner has a legit shot to win the next round. And also Somerville, I think, is one of the scariest 8 seeds in the state playoffs. Really.